The Lexus UX is one of the most fuel-efficient luxury crossovers money can buy, but fuel economy might be the only area where it doesn't leave you wanting more. Beneath that sculpted exterior is a vehicle full of trade-offs that Lexus isn't advertising. If you're about to drop $40,000 or more on the subcompact, there are things you need to hear first. 7 reasons not to buy the Lexus UX. Number 7. Tight rear seats. Here's a question worth asking before you commit. How often are there going to be people sitting behind you? Because the answer matters a lot with this vehicle. The front cabin is genuinely comfortable, with supportive seats, quality materials, and well-placed controls. But the moment someone climbs into the back, a completely different picture emerges. Rear legroom is limited, headroom is constrained by a sloping roofline, and the seat cushion sits low enough that adult passengers end up with their knees raised and thighs unsupported. Think about a simple scenario. You're picking up a friend from the airport. They climb into the back, and within 10 minutes, they're shifting around trying to find a position that doesn't feel cramped. That's not a hypothetical, that's what owners are consistently describing. The rear door openings are also narrower than most rivals offer, making entry and exit more of a chore, especially for older passengers. The UX seats 2 adults in real comfort. Beyond that, it starts making compromises that most buyers at this price point aren't expecting. And if you thought the rear passengers were uncomfortable, wait until they try to find somewhere to put their luggage. Number 6. Small cargo area. From the outside, the UX carries itself like a proper SUV. The raised ride height, the bold wheel arches, the elevated stance, it all says practical crossover. Then you open the tailgate and reality sets in. Cargo volume behind the rear seats is just 17 cubic feet. A BMW X1 fits 9 carry-on suitcases in its boot. The UX manages 6. A Volvo XC40 offers around 452 liters. The UX sits at roughly 315. That's not a minor gap, that's a fundamentally different class of usability. Most people buying a crossover at this price expect to use it for real life. Weekend trips, grocery hauls, the occasional piece of furniture, that expectation runs straight into the UX's cargo area, and something has to give. Consumer Reports found that owners were folding the rear seats just to carry anything larger than 2 bags. There's also the liftover height. The cargo floor sits relatively high, meaning heavier items need to be lifted further just to load them. A couple traveling light will manage. A family heading anywhere for more than a night will be making compromises. But here's what makes it worse. Even before you start loading cargo, getting into a comfortable driving position is its own separate problem. Number 5. Awkward driving position. The UX is marketed as an SUV, sold alongside the NX and the RX. What it doesn't deliver is the elevated seating position most buyers expect when they move into the segment. The driving position sits noticeably lower than comparable rivals. Owners transitioning from larger vehicles frequently describe sitting in the car rather than on top of it. Consumer Reports flagged this specifically, noting that some drivers felt the position was too low for what the vehicle presents itself to be. When you're navigating heavy traffic, one of the things that makes a crossover feel secure is being able to see clearly over the cars around you. In the UX, that feeling largely isn't there. It drives more like a raised hatchback than a conventional SUV. And for someone who chose this segment specifically for better sightlines, the driving position is going to be a quiet but persistent disappointment. And once you're actually moving, the powertrain is going to raise a few more questions. Number 4. Pokey acceleration. The UX 300H produces 196 combined horsepower from its 2.0-liter hybrid system. Around town, the electric motor's instant torque makes it feel reasonably responsive. The trouble starts when you're already moving. Various independent testers recorded 0 to 60 times between 7.7 and 8 seconds. In a segment where a Mercedes-Benz GLB hits 60 in around 6 seconds, the UX is sitting well behind the pace. Picture merging onto a highway in fast-moving traffic. You press the accelerator expecting confidence and instead get a gradual build that asks for patience at the exact moment you don't have any. There's also a secondary issue. When you push hard, the CVT holds the engine at high revs while speed builds slowly. Many owners describe the engine at full throttle as sounding coarse. The gap between engine noise and actual forward motion is something Lexus buyers, accustomed to a certain refinement standard, are going to find difficult to accept. At close to $40,000, buyers are going to expect more urgency when they ask for it. And that underwhelming feeling doesn't stop at the powertrain. The view from the driver's seat is going to add to it. Number 3. Limited outward visibility. This one tends to get overlooked during a test drive, and that's exactly the problem. The styling that makes the UX look sharp from the outside is directly responsible for real visibility limitations from inside. The rear pillars are substantial. The rear window is on the smaller side. Checking blind spots requires more deliberate effort than it does in most upright crossovers. Lane changes on fast-moving roads are where it matters most. Most drivers have a moment where they need to feel certain before committing to a gap in traffic. In the UX, that certainty is harder to come by. Lexus does equip the UX with a solid driver assistance suite. Blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic alert are going to do a lot of work here. Safety System Plus 3.0 performs well in real-world use, but leaning on driver aids to compensate for restricted sight lines isn't the ideal situation. And once you're living with this car day to day, the inside of the cabin is going to surface a whole new set of frustrations. Number 2. Lack of small storage areas. This doesn't register during a test drive. It takes a few weeks of daily use before it starts to wear on people. The UX's interior is well finished, but it runs short on practical places to put things. There are cup holders and a charging tray. But beyond those basics, the options for everyday carry items get thin quickly. Anyone who drives daily knows the routine. Phone, sunglasses, coffee, charging cable, a passenger's drink. In a well-designed interior, everything finds a home without you thinking about it. In the UX, you're going to be thinking about it. Some owners noted that taller water bottles interfere with climate control. Others flagged the absence of rear cup holders. Sitting alongside the BMW X1 and the Audi Q3, the UX is going to be judged at that standard, and a cabin that feels like it ran out of storage during the planning phase isn't going to pass that test. And the system you're going to be reaching for most often, the infotainment, is going to add one more layer of friction. Number 1. Awkward infotainment controls. The UX has come a long way here, and that context matters. Older models carried one of the most criticized infotainment setups in the luxury segment, a touchpad controller instead of a touchscreen, requiring drivers to move a cursor around a small pad to navigate menus while moving. Not intuitive, not what anyone expects at this price. Current models use a conventional touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard. The available 12.3-inch display is bright and responsive. That's a genuine improvement. But the UX still isn't leading the class. BMW's iDrive, Mercedes MBUX, Audi's MMI. Those systems feel built around the driver. The UX's system works, but lacks that same sense of precision. Factory navigation requires a subscription after 3 years. Voice recognition falls short of what German rivals are offering. At the base trim, a 7-inch screen is noticeably modest for this segment. Some control placements still feel less considered than what you'd find across the road at a BMW or Audi dealership. And at $45,000, that's a gap that's hard to overlook. The Lexus UX is built around one genuine strength, efficiency, and a series of compromises that follow from it. The small footprint behind the tight rear seats and undersized cargo area, the aggressive roofline behind the restricted visibility, the luxury positioning behind the awkward driving position, modest acceleration, thin storage, and infotainment that hasn't fully caught up. None of these are failures in isolation, but together in a segment full of better-rounded alternatives, they paint a picture of a vehicle asking more than it is offering. For a single driver prioritizing fuel economy above everything else, the UX makes a reasonable case. For anyone expecting the full crossover package at a luxury price, the math doesn't add up. With everything we've just said, cheaper alternatives from mainstream brands with premium pretensions might seem like a better option. The Mazda CX-30 comes to mind first, but the thing is that it also comes with numerous compromises, and you can check them out in our next video. It might be stylish and sporty, but practical limitations and a firm ride are some of the reasons why it doesn't lead the pack.